I really wish I knew how much this house I own near Princeton was worth right now. Chris Norton from Keller Williams here. Today, we're going to be talking about how you can know what your greater Princeton area house is actually worth, and I'm going to be sharing with you the 3 best free ways of getting that information. All right, so what really is the value of a home? You've probably heard that a home is worth what somebody's willing to pay. So today, I'm going to be walking you through your best guess on knowing what something's really worth before someone's actually willing to buy it, because that's really what the point of the exercise is. So, I've got a house, I want to sell it, and I don't really know how much it's worth until somebody actually buys it. So how do I get enough insight to figure that out? Now, to dig into this, first you have to understand the difference between the actual value of a property and the perceived value of a property. Now, for example, if it's your home and you live there, you're probably really attached to your home, and you're probably thinking, like many people do, that your home is worth more than it might really be. Our emotions tend to get in the way and can distort reality. The perceived value of your home, however, doesn't change the actual value. Now, for example, you might have taken your own house and done a bunch of upgrades, ones that you think make it look nicer and give it a better appearance. Now, here's the challenge. A home isn't only just worth what someone else is willing to pay, but the base value or appraised value really comes down to the 3 L's: lot, location, and layout. As in, how big is the lot that your home is sitting on? Where is that house in terms of what town and the views it has? How many square feet is it? How many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, and so on. So, for example, if you invested in upgrades for your home, depending on what they are, it doesn't necessarily bring up the value of your home. So, for example, let's say you decided to put in a gold leaf toilet in your bathroom because you're thinking, this is my throne room, and then you spent $10,000 doing it. Well, yeah, the whole house must be worth $10,000 more. I actually saw this once in real life. You can ask me about it sometime. So anyway, I'm going to go to the hardware store and pick up an El Cheapo toilet for $129. Your $10,000 toilet doesn't really elevate the house in value $10,000, but what it can do is increase perceived value. Now, perceived value at best will only make sure that your home gets under contract faster and you can fetch top dollar, but top dollar compared to low dollar is really a small margin. So the next question is, how do I actually then get my best guess on what my home might be worth if I can't really take into account my home furnishings and upgrades? There's 3 free ways to get a concept of what your house is worth, and I'll share all 3 of those with you in order of importance. So let's start with the least important. The first one is going to be your tax evaluation, and this is when your local county does a value assessment of your property. So or it could be your municipality or county, depending on where you live. Frequently, they're on the low side, because if they push that number too high, the residents tend to get upset, because then your municipal taxes go up, all based on that tax evaluation. So while your house might be worth $200,000, for example, your tax evaluation might be for $130,000 or $150,000 or $160,000. The other thing to remember is they're routinely done about every 10 years or so, and as a result can be really out of date. The last year and a half, for example, would be a great example of why, they may not be current. So next, number 2, look at the insurance you pay for on the house. The insurance company wants to know that if the house burnt down and they had to rebuild it, how much the cost to replace it or replicate it would be. Again, it won't tell you what your house is really worth, but it'll at least tell you what the replacement cost is. And there's a little bonus content here. If the home's worth a lot more than the replacement value, guess what? You might be in a bubble, and bubbles sometimes do what? So, third, but the most effective technique for figuring out what your house is worth is by doing what's called a comparable market analysis, or a CMA. So realtors, like me, have access to your local MLS, your multiple listing service, and they can basically take other homes like yours that have sold or are listed and do a comparable, subjective, as well as objective comparison against one another. For example, this one has 1 more bedroom, this one has 1 less bedroom, this one's a slightly bigger lot, this one's smaller, this is a newer home, this one's older, and so on. These criteria, by the way, are the factors that an independent appraiser hired by a lender uses. You make adjustments, you deliberately estimate what your home is worth so you know what to list it for. Now, it's important here to note, to discuss motivations. Now, you, of course, want your property to sell for the greatest benefit to you. That could be price, it could be timing, it might be the least amount of inspections or leaseback provisions. There's no single right answer. But none of these things actually occur until the property sells. Now, on the other hand, the person selling your house, let's say it's me, it's going to be motivated by that paycheck, which doesn't happen until closing. In order for that to happen, though, that person needs to obtain the listing first. So, knowing human nature, there's a lot of temptation for them to simply state a higher or exaggerated number, hoping you'll like the bigger number enough to sign with them, and then they plan to reduce the price over time to a number they expect your home to sell at. All this ends up doing is costing you time, carrying costs, and all too often your home sells months after it could have for less than it should have if it was accurately priced to begin with. Now, I can't fault people, the sellers or agents, for selecting a higher number out of the gate. It's optimism, it's a positive outlook, and a lot of times it's not reflected in the data. That's why it's important to me to evaluate all of the data available and come up with an accurate and likely set of pricing scenarios that reflect the condition of the market as well as the condition of your home. There's no benefit to overprice a home that I don't get paid on until I sell that home, and you don't either. So a comparable market analysis by far is going to get you your most accurate representation of value. So how do you get one of those? Well, first of all, you can comment below in the video space down here. You can click on the links that are associated with the video and get in touch with me that way. After that, we can do an arm's length estimate, or if you want to get a more accurate approach, we can schedule time for me to do a free game plan and analysis to help you know what your house is worth and whether you can refinance it in order to free up more capital or reduce your tax bill and so on. You might just be curious and want to know what it's worth. Thanks for watching this. Get in touch with me. Click the links below. I'll help you out with your evaluation. And be sure to subscribe so I can bring you more value-packed information on real estate.